Welcome to this video where I will be showing you how to use the Xplan Voyant integration once this has been set up for you at both ends, at Iris's end and Voyant's. If it hasn't been set up, contact support at planwithvoyant.com in order to do this. In this video we'll walk through importing a client from Xplan into Voyant, updating a Voyant plan at review, and connecting up a client that you've already put into Voyant with their record in Xplan so that you can update their details. We're starting with importing a client from Xplan into Voyant. So to do that, I start in my Advisor Go homepage and I go to the plus button bottom right and go to Import. You'll see Iris on the list of available integrations once it's been set up. And once you click on it, you're able to search for the client's name. In this case, the client's last name for this demo is McCain. And it will show available records from Xplan to be able to pull through into Voyant. So I'm going to select Andrew McCain. Then it'll bring through the client details from Xplan. So here's the principal client, there's the spouse, and there's a child. When you click on Summary, it will show you the list of items that are going to be imported. And here you have the option to add or skip. Though if you don't skip from here, you can always delete from the dashboard as normal if you need to. There are some things to look out for here and which we're looking to improve. The main ones are where you may have a duplication. For example, certain expenses and incomes pull through from the integration, but are also covered elsewhere. In this case, there's a mortgage expense of $14,400 in the mortgage payments, which has been entered into the expenses section of Xplan, but there's also the debt on the house itself. Now in Voyant, if you enter a debt, you also then have the facility within the debt to enter the payments. These payments are treated as an expense. So you don't need to enter an expense for the mortgage payments in separately. So in this case, there would be a duplication of that mortgage expense. We're looking at how to improve this, such as defaulting this item to skip or not showing it altogether, and feedback welcome. The other items to look out for along the same lines, if there's income in the plan, if that income is from a pension or from an investment, in Voyant enter the pension balance and the investment balance. There's no need to import items classed as other income in addition to this. I'll show you how to check the plan in a moment once everything pulls through. Note where there's a description field in Xplan, this usually pulls through to the name in Voyant. Once you're happy, click Done, and it will create the client plan for you in Voyant, pulling those items through from Xplan. If you see error messages, it means that some information is missing, so potentially something either that's not been entered in Xplan, a field that's only in Voyant, or something that doesn't pull through. In this case, there's the final salary is needing more information. Click on the error message to go to the section that it's referring to. You need to link an employment to it. In this case, I'm actually just going to change it to deferred pension here. Enter the amount. Make sure I have the timing. And click Done. If you need to, you can refresh your screen at this point as well. Now, in the dashboard view, if I click on the downward arrow, you'll notice that anything with a downward arrow and a line underneath it means it's been imported from Xplan. Anything without that downward arrow is either something you've created yourself or something that Voyant's created by default, such as these cash sweep accounts. Check through your entries, looking specifically at things like contributions, timing and growth rates to check that it's modelled for what you would like to set up in Voyant. It may be that you'd like to change a few of the settings, or model it in a slightly different way in a different scenario. So for example, I click on the job, I check the salary, I check the growth rate on the salary, so that's the assumption around the salary and what it's going to increase by each year in the plan, and the timing. So when is that salary stopping and starting? Another way to check the plan is to go to year view, top right of the chart, and this shows you the numbers for each year of the chart. So in year 1, which is where the slider is, cash flow is the money coming in, expenses is the money going out, and investments, pensions, property, debts and so on will show you the details for these items in that year of the plan. You can check your money in, money out in these tabs here, and your growth rates, assumed balances, contributions, etc. into products in investments and pensions. To add items into the plan, you can go to the plus button down the bottom right as normal. Now that you have your plan, you can then do whatever modelling, what if scenarios, running insights, looking at the legacy screen that you'd like in order to model what you'd like and create discussion points with the client. Now on update, it's the next year. You've coming back to this plan, what do you do? So first of all, we need to update and promote. So I click on the base plan name, I go to manage plans, I go to update and promote, and I work through the update and promote wizard. Let's just say we change the plan name, we'll use today's date, and we're going to promote. Now I'm not going to work through this second wizard here, the update plan, because we're going to do the updating of these plan values via the integration. So I'm just going to cross out of here. We're now in our new plan. So this is the old base plan and this is the updated base plan. And in the dashboard view, we go to the plus button bottom right and you'll see update. Once you've updated the values in Xplan, you can then come into Voyant to update those values in Voyant. By clicking update, it will see if there's any differences. And you can work through these screens here to check and see what's changed. And you can see it's trying to add in that mortgage payment expense, so I'll just skip that again. Once you click done, then if there was any changes in Xplan, it would update the plan in Voyant. Again, use your dashboard, clicking on the entries and year view to check. Finally, in my home screen here, I have a plan that I put into Voyant myself manually. Smith demo. And if I expand everything here, you see there's no downward arrows with lines underneath it, but I'd like to connect this plan up with Iris in order to update the values. So I've done my update. How do I connect it with the Xplan file? Within the Smith demo record, we'll go to the dashboard and the plus button bottom right, you'll see import. It's not update because you've not yet connected it with an integration. So go to import, select Iris, and we're going to find Smith demo on the list of people. You'll then have the option to merge, overwrite or cancel. Cancel just exits out of the screen. Merge is likely to be what you're looking to do. It won't overwrite any of the information that you've already entered. It will keep all your what if scenarios, it will keep any other items that you've entered manually, and it will allow you to connect up the values. And I'll show you how to do this one in a second. Overwrite, be very careful with overwrite as it will create a new version of the Voyant plan, but in that version it's as if it started from scratch from the information from Xplan. In other words, there'll be no what if scenarios or anything you've created previously in that version. It'll just be back to the beginning in terms of the data in. So here we're going to choose merge. Make sure it's the right people that you're merging the plans for. some events pull through with this integration. And then you can add, connect, or skip each of the finances. So add if it's something that's in Xplan that is not in Voyant, so you need to add it afresh. Connect is connecting things up that are in both, and skip if you don't want to add it at all. So in here, I'm going to connect everything up just to show you how it works. And so to do that, I'll keep the connect on blue and click next. Now I need to tell it what it's connecting to. So up the top here, we've got the expense coming through from Xplan, and down the bottom, we have to choose which expense in Voyant that is. So in this case, it's pretty clear: expense groceries, expense other expenditure, there's the mortgage, and the property, and connect it to that one. This one it can't find, so it has to be a new or skip, so I'll do a new. You'll see the employment has now changed. It was 45,000 in Voyant and now it's 50,000 in Xplan, so it will update the value there to 50. I'll show you that in a second. And you also have the option if you wanted to add a new employment or to skip. Again, the unwrapped investments have changed in value, so they're now 100,000, and we're connecting up these other bits and pieces as well. So now, we now have the line, the arrow with the line. The employment is changed to 50 when it was 45, and the unwraps changed to 100 when it was 80. When we go to the plus button bottom right and dashboard now, you see update. Please let us know if you have any feedback on this integration. You can also go to the support site at support.planwithvoyant.com, search for Iris integration, and down the bottom here there's a guide of everything we've covered right now, and down the bottom you've got some tips on how to check your plan. Thanks for listening.